Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Johnny Venable. He's Bo Brock, PHNX headquarters in downtown Phoenix. And here we are, Bo. We're about 6 weeks away from the start of training camp. We got good vibes. Team was looking good during mini camp. And then our friends, or maybe our foes at Pro Football Focus, came to rain on the parade of these co-hosts with a certain set of rankings on positions, Bo, that frankly I thought the Cardinals were strong at least strong for this team, and yet PFF, Bo, they think otherwise.
Yeah, a couple of the topics today, Cardinals fans, you're going to need to have a little bit of alligator skin because and we're going to see this a lot, all the way up until the other side of this rebuild. There's going to be, very unappealing articles, content created about the Arizona Cardinals. So this is one of them. This is actually two of them that we'll get into, but Pro Football Focus starting to release their positional rankings, and the Arizona Cardinals are ranked 31st with running backs, 28th with wide receivers, and then again, 31st for offensive line.
Man,
which, I actually, if I were to look at these three groups, I would actually think that these are three of their stronger groups on their team. So I know we're going to get deeper and deeper into this conversation, but I was kind of surprised to see it. Now, when I read especially the breakdown of the offensive line, this is what I'll say. I just don't think that whoever wrote the piece is truly informed as far as the Arizona Cardinals offensive line, its personnel, and what it projects out to be in 2023.
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, I'm like, we'll be frank and objective on the show. I think the Cardinals' defensive line is the worst defensive line in the NFL and is amongst the top 5 to 10 worst position groups in the NFL. Not just it's bad for D lines. I think it's just bad in general. And they haven't had an opportunity to upgrade it, at least this regime. So I can take that. I'm a big boy. But when you look at the offensive line in particular, Bo, like they go 4 tackles deep, all capable, assuming Paris Johnson Jr. is not an unmitigated disaster embarrassment, which nobody thinks he will be. Kelvin Beachum on their own website and DJ Humphries both rated out last year as above average players, right? They're not even average. They're above average players. So if you pencil them in to start and then you pepper in, according to them, because they probably think Paris is going to play guard, and then you've got Josh Jones, I get it. Like, they don't Yelda Froholt, I saw in the ranking, is the lowest starting center that's not a rookie. Okay, so that brings the ratio down. And, probably Will Hernandez, although Will Hernandez was kind of a darling free agent sleeper for them. So it's like the Cardinals, I think, have a top 20 offensive line. I think they're honestly better coached right now than they were last year with Cliff Kingsbury and Sean Kugler and everything that went on there. But I just think they go too deep at almost every position. That's why we talked about maybe bringing in the ex-Commanders starting center. They don't mess around the offensive line. I think that's the biggest travesty. You want to bang on the running back group because you think James Conner's old and he gets hurt. I'm okay with that because you can flip a running back group on a dime, and a running back group, as much as I like it, I'm a 90s NFL baby, it doesn't lead to championships. So I'm fine with that. The receiver group, I think, is being devalued because I think Hollywood Brown is a 1,000-yard receiver when he plays 17 games. And I think the combination of Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch, and Michael Wilson is at least competent. I think it's a competent group that you can pepper in some targets. Zach Pascal, I don't think that's an embarrassing group. I've seen embarrassing groups in the desert, and that's not one of them. I think they belong probably somewhere in the low to mid 20s at the latest. But you start talking about like they're putting them in amongst the worst receiving cores in the league. Something tells me that's in part because they feel like, well, Kyler's not going to play, so this receiving core is really going to be bad. Well, that's not what the ranking should be. You have to be objective and say, even if Kyler Murray isn't there, like if we take these 4 or 5 receivers and we put them with Patrick Mahomes or whomever, they would be good. They would achieve, I think, quality statistics. So they're just all over the place.
Yeah, no, they are all over the place, and I think that they're focusing on teams that have higher aspirations and higher expectations in 2023. I mean, they're doing deeper roster dives on position groups, probably on teams that are going to be in the mix for the playoff spots this upcoming season, and probably just then throwing wherever they feel like they can throw the Arizona Cardinals in it at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
If there's no big names, no alluring names, they're just going to, just file it away at the bottom and said that they included them as part of the 32 and really didn't do any true homework on them. And it lacks any kind of insight and foresight as far as what this group could project to be. I'm really talking about the offensive line here. And I think also you can include the wide receiver group post DeAndre Hopkins in that conversation, that even without D-Hop, I think you got some talented players. Now, it also has to have some of those players when you mention guys like Rondell Moore that are going to have to stay healthy. So definitely want to get deeper into this conversation. Let's welcome everybody in the chat right out of the gates. Gary Coker, thank you for the Father's Day wishes.
Thank you,
Gary. Big thank you to you. And all the dads in the room, included everybody here in the chat. Blaine asking if we've seen the new paint job on the Arizona Cardinals airplane. Haven't seen it yet. I know they were using it to get to D.C., for a philanthropic project that they were working on with local Arizona youths. TGIF, happy Father's Day from Marcus. I got alligator skin he follows up with, but I'm still going to call Mike Florio a dork whenever I can. Absolutely. Anytime that we can drag Mike Florio, we're here for that. Agent 47, I hope Paris can be the new Trent Williams for us. Look, that's lofty expectations that I'm not ready to put on Paris Johnson's shoulders, but, can he be that franchise tackle that they envisions? Absolutely. He can definitely show signs of that. But, this is what they said, Johnny, as far as the breakdown from PFF. So they have the Cardinals at 31, sandwiched between the Seahawks at 30 and the Tennessee Titans at 32. Seahawks, I don't know what they're doing. The fact that they couldn't produce, maybe the Seahawks are a victim of bad reporting, or, I guess really trying to figure out who the better offensive line groups are in the league.
Yeah.
The fact that they couldn't get higher than 30 coming off of the year that they did last year in the draft capital that they've invested in that position. But this is what they said as the projected starting lineup is DJ, Paris Johnson at left guard. I haven't seen him line up at left guard all OTAs and minicamp. Yelda Frodehold at center. Will Hernandez at right guard. Calvin Beachum at right tackle. The Cardinals seem to have an entire offensive line build of left tackles, with rookie Paris Johnson Jr. likely shoehorned in at guard, and Josh Jones back riding the bench after a breakout 2022. With 44 penalties as a unit, the Cardinals finished last season tied for the most penalized offensive line in the NFL. Now, let me say this. This is addition by subtraction. Billy Price is now signed with the New Orleans Saints. Tip of the cap to his agent, because Billy Price, I don't know how
an NFL player.
I don't know how he gets a job. He was penalized 11 times. He was a quarter of the penalties from
like
the Cardinals
half a season.
offensive line. Yeah, he didn't even play the full time. It was definitely like Steve Keim. He did not have a fallback plan for Rodney Hudson. One, his retirement, and two, him not being available to the center position, and then just didn't exactly scour the free agent wire, just looked at the free agent wire and said, hey, you play center, you would fit in here, to where Monti Ossenfort would definitely find somebody, more well-versed to fit the scheme. He just brought in Billy Price, who had a, first-round pedigree, fallen far from that grace, fallen out of favor with Cincinnati, had a year with the Giants, and then the Giants didn't welcome him back, and then he came to the desert, and the struggles continued. He's gone. So I really just – and to say, and this was a knock on the Cardinals calling drafting Paris Johnson a luxury. I can't remember what publication did that, but it's like to say that they have it built from left tackles.
Or went out for Sporting News.
Sporting News. But it's built from left. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, left tackles are usually your best offensive linemen. So to say that they can't kick one to the right side or kick them inside, it's just I think it's just a lazy take.
It is. And then what makes it worse is I watched the Rams offensive line last year. It was not better than the Cardinals offensive line, even with how bad the Cardinals were. And then to have teams like the Bears 21st. I love our peeps at CHGO, but I mean, they're going to be playing Darnell Wright, who's a rookie, who I don't think is very comparable at all to Paris Johnson Jr. They've got a couple mid-tier players, but the Cardinals, I mean, DJ Humphries, when he's healthy, is a plus left tackle. And then Kelvin Beachum will start every game if he
We
plays.
gave up as many sacks as DJ Humphries did last year.
Yeah, 0
when he was healthy. 0.
I think they look at Yelda Froldholt as a huge liability, and that brings the ratio down. If you've got this kid as the worst center in the NFL, but that's not even because of production. That's just as an unknown. So you should treat Yelda Froldholt a little bit like a rookie. Like, hey, we don't know, this guy hasn't played before. We're going to see what he looks like. The Cardinals' offensive line, to me, I think is going to be one of the best position groups that they have. I don't need PFF to tell me otherwise, because I know Paris Johnson Jr. and the ceiling that he has and the floor, which I think is going to be solid to elite. And I think he's going to be elite in just a few short years. And then competition from these tackle spots. Josh Jones wants to hit the free agent market next spring. Don't let anybody fool you, and get paid, and wants to be able to put good tape out there in front of agents next March. We got to get on the field. You got to beat people out. DJ Humphries wants one more big payday. And then, Kelvin Beachum looks like a backup right now, but he can come in and at least be competent. The Cardinals have not had this kind of tackle depth in my adult life. And I feel like the interior offensive line, could it be better? Sure, they could upgrade it. They're looking at this kid from Washington. I say kid, 29-year-old solid center in Chase. And then you've got Yelda Froldholt, you've got Ben Gaines, you've got Will Hernandez, who was one of, if not the best offensive lineman they had before he went down last year. Is it a flashy group with a bunch of Pro Bowlers a la Dallas a couple of years ago? No. But like the Cardinals in years prior, when they would be ranked last or dead to last or close to last for offensive line, it was like Levi Brown was starting at left tackle. They were starting like late day 3 picks out of, necessity, because the players they would add in free agency would get hurt or they would bust. Yeah. Cardinals have a contingency plan in place. This is the most forward thinking they've been with this unit in some time. And like, I don't need PFF to affirm that. I know that, that everybody in the chat, 66 people watching, know that, following this team every day. But, and I especially think like the numbers will be beneficial for this unit in large part. They're not going to throw the ball as much as other teams. So endo facto, they're not going to give up as many pressures, as many sacks. I think this offensive line, especially when you look at guys like Paris Johnson, Yelda Froldholt, and Will Hernandez, want to power people and block people downfield. They want to run block. Yeah. So it's predictable. But I'll tell you, I am surprised to see them almost dead last just in front of Tennessee. That's pretty laughable.
But and it's weird to see like they're not nearly dead last at the running back position, where they really have one proven commodity, and that's at the starting spot. Like they were 31st, they were ranked 31st on the offensive line. They were ranked 31st for wide receivers, correct? And then 28th for running back. Do I have that right? Can we see the graphic one more time? I apologize.
Yeah, let's check out.
But it was 28th. Oh, I'm sorry, 28th at receiver and then 31st at running back. That makes a little bit more sense. But it's like you got one guy. It's like PFF. The sample size on Keontae Ingram was too small, and then you got Corey Clement behind that, who was a practice squad player for the Cardinals most of last season after his time in Philadelphia. It's like it's James Conner and that's it. And like we know what the deal is with James Conner. When healthy, he's a solid running back. 1,000 scrimmage yards between each of the last 2 seasons. And he's got 8 total touchdowns. He's got 26 total touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. He's a monster when healthy. So I would think that if you take that in consideration, just the one guy should at least get you up a little bit further than that.
You know what that is, though? That's like Cardinals running back group it's not a sexy group. They don't have a rookie to tout. They don't have, what's the kid out of Auburn, Tank Bigsby. They don't have Jahmyr Gibbs, right? They're not Atlanta taking a running back top 6 overall and Bijan Robinson. That's fine. Like, because it doesn't matter. I mean, I love the running back position. It was my favorite growing up. I had all the jerseys. I had a LaDainian Tomlinson jersey. I had an Edgerrin James Cardinal jersey. I bought a Beanie Wells jersey right after the draft, circa 2009. But the position is not irrelevant, but it's interchangeable. Yeah. I mean, like, and there are a ton of free. I mean, like, how would this list look different if they signed Kareem Hunt tomorrow? Or, right. I mean, if they paid for Dalvin Cook or somebody like that, like you have an opportunity to upgrade this unit every single year. And the Niners are first because they have McCaffrey. It's got a couple quality backs that they've drafted. But this unit, the offensive line unit, to move up and to be highly thought of takes years of investing and hitting on guys over 5 positions. running back, I mean, it's plug and play seemingly every 6 months. You could shift this out. What the Cardinals are doing with James Conner, and you guys know this in the chat, but I'll reiterate, they owe him $10 million. And they love what he brings to the team on and off the field. Is he part of their long-term plan? Probably not. They're not going to pay him past this year. What they're going to do is they're going to say, James, we're going to run you into the ground. You're going to set yourself up when we subsequently release you next spring to get a payday from somebody else. And we're going to go our separate ways because they're going to draft a running back. They tried to this year. The chips didn't fall in their direction in terms of guys being available. They used a bunch of top 30 draft visits on running backs. It's just, this is a, hey, James, we need you to take one for the team, but we're also going to showcase you. But people look at James Conner, it's like 900 yards, 1,100 yards potentially, and 8 to 10 touchdowns. That's not sexy to NFL writers, fantasy football enthusiasts, but it's going to help the Cardinals stay in and win some games this year.
Yeah. I mean, and look, I mean, I'm sure they would entertain him coming back. I really hope that they draft a guy next offseason in 2024. But they might entertain him coming back at a way scaled back price. And
let me tell you what he's going to be making next year.
Minimum.
So, well, I mean, his cap hit next year.
Right.
Almost, it's $8.5 million this year.
He's not playing he's not returning. The odds of that happening are close to zero. Him playing at that.
If they designate him as a post June 1st cut next year, they save $5.5 million and they have $3 million of dead cap. And it's not really even like a cap casualty. They should think like, can we upgrade over James Conner next spring? And they probably can. They need to.
He's going to be 29 in the following season. Agent 47, you never know. We might hit on the kid from TCU, Emery Dermacado. I mean, he was a guy that played some big snaps for TCU down the stretch in their run to the college football playoff final, but he still wasn't the guy. I mean, it was Kendry Miller before his injury, and it was like if he can't beat out a guy on his roster in the Big 12, is he going to beat out Keontae Ingram? And we'll see. I mean, can he be a guy that can make plays for this team as a down the depth chart running back? Can he make this roster? That's possible, but I don't know. I haven't seen too much from Dermacado. I'm not crushing the guy at all. Just haven't seen a whole lot of him on display in up through mini camp. So we'll see if he's somebody that can make a name for himself in training camp. Now the wide receiver, to kind of bring this all home, wide receiver, I guess, was the highest ranked, 28th post D-Hop. Hollywood Brown, Rondell Moore, Greg Dortch, Michael Wilson, really not even thrown in when they broke down this list, which I thought was a bad omission because I think that he's going to play a part. Zach Pascal as well. I mean, 28th is down the charts as well.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that this publication, to your point, isn't taking Michael Wilson into account, and Michael Wilson could look up at the end of the year and be the number 2 receiver for this team. And that's okay. Like the Cardinals are betting on young players, and they're also vetting the prior regime's wideouts to see who's worth keeping, who's not. I mean, like, could it be the last year for Dortch, Hollywood, and Rondell Moore? Not likely, but it could. I'd say there's probably maybe a 30% chance they could all be gone next spring, right? Let's say Michael Wilson pops, Rondell Moore's hurt again. Dortch is a year-to-year player. I'd love to see him stick around. And then Hollywood Brown is going to want a big contract. So I think this group, very similar to what we've talked about for the offensive line. I think this competition is going to breed productivity out of this receiving core. Greg Dortch, screams, overachiever, and that's why we love him. But it's like, hey, Rondell Moore, like, you got an opportunity here. This is your last opportunity, at least for the Cardinals. And he said as much talking to us Radio Row during the Super Bowl. He's like, hey, I'm just doing everything I can to just, if it doesn't work out, I know I gave it my best in terms of keeping his body healthy. They're trying some new things this offseason, but like, you got to be able to play. You got to be able to be available. And, as far as Hollywood Brown goes, I mentioned this before, he's said and done all the right things. He's at everything. He's with the coaching staff. He is clearly the unimpeded, universal number 1 receiver on this roster. They're going to count on him. And if he comes through during the dog days without K1, and the defense might be struggling and the run game's not there sometimes, and you look up and Hollywood Brown's having a nice year, they will reward him because he is one of the few proven commodities that they're going to trot out in early September. It's going to be like him and James Conner as the guys. We don't know if Ertz is healthy. They're mixing and matching some guys on the offensive line. It's Colt McCoy and his rag arm out there. It's like, okay, Hollywood Brown and James Conner. Let's see what you guys got. And I think Hollywood is going to put himself in a position to get paid. And I hope that he does, because I think his enthusiasm is contagious. I think he wants to be great. He certainly looks like, and this is cliche to say, he's in the best, physical stature of his career, physical shape. But I mean, like, there's a reason, Bo, that we're talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. almost 365 days before next year's draft is. Like, if the Cardinals are picking top 3 next year, like, really good chance number 18's an Arizona Cardinal.
You have to look at this past offseason and realize what organizations are doing after just a flurry of moves the previous offseason, a lot of wide receiver movement. Like, organizations are viewing the wide receiver position as a premium position from here on forward. Like, if you have a good one, they don't let them with that, out of their grasp. Like Juju Smith-Schuster, like the days of him being a priority wide receiver. So what Hollywood Brown has to do this season is make himself undeniable. Like, he has to put himself in the organization's eyes as we can't let him hit free agency, because if we do, we're letting a premium player get out of our grasp. And that's going to be just another position that we're going to have to supplement and beyond, what we feel like we have. You'll have Moore under contract. You'll have Wilson under contract. So Hollywood Brown is in a position to where I think, Monti Ossenfort, obviously we're seeing him not, jump at the chances of extending players at not premium positions. And where is he going to when he's going to spend money, like an extension money and stuff? Where is he going to emphasize that? I think wide receiver, you'll see when pressed, he'll probably pay guys at the wide receiver position, because that's what people around the league are doing. They're not letting their top wide receivers become, available for nothing.
Yeah, Jordan, depends on what they do with Murray, with Hollywood Brown. If they move away from Murray, Brown's probably gone too. I don't know if I'd say that. Listen, if Kyler Murray doesn't play this year or barely plays and he's hurt, let's just say it doesn't go well for K1 this year, and Hollywood Brown has like 1,300 yards, like, I know they have a close relationship, they're buddies, but like, you keep your best players. And if the Cardinals, even with Hollywood's production, are in a position to draft Caleb Williams, like, Hollywood, this is a business. They know it's a business. I mean, you want to, of course, it's fun playing with your buddies, but I mean, like, Hollywood Brown is a commodity. I know everybody complains that the Cardinals overpaid, and maybe they did, but like, if he produces, like, he'll either be wanted here or somewhere else. And like, the Cardinals are going to have, we talked about it in nauseam, but like $100 million next spring. It's like, okay, we have $100 million and we have this receiver that just had a good year, and we're going to let him go. Well, at the very least, you franchise tag him. You let him see if he can do it again. I don't know. I don't think their relationship was overplayed, because I think that's in part why Keim did it, was to appease K1.
Sure.
Which is kind of funny. I mean, it's you put the best 53 man out there, but now I think it's just like, if Hollywood Brown produces with a bird on the helmet for the Arizona Cardinals, he's going to get paid. If the Cardinals, if he does everything right and they love him and he puts his speeding transgressions behind him and he's a leader in the locker room, it doesn't matter what Kyler Murray does or doesn't. But I think there's a good chance both are here in 2024. That's my opinion.
If he has a mid-season, I mean, he could find his way to free agency, though, for sure. Like, if
what's a mid-season?
Like, if he barely cracks 1,000, if he's like around, a handful of touchdowns, if he's in like the Jacoby, if he shows to be in the Jacoby Myers, Juju Smith-Schuster tier of wide receivers, those aren't priority. But then to Agent 47's question, this is a bit rhetorical to me, because even if you have like Devontae Adams and AJ Brown on your roster, I still think you draft MHJ as far as Marvin Harrison Jr.
They have no one on their roster that would block him.
I mean,
no one.
He's a generational type
guys,
talent.
Have you seen his tape? Come on.
Yeah. You need to tweet out more tape, in my opinion.
I try to tweet out Michael Irvin, Marvin Harrison Jr. Videos as much as I can, just to raise. I feel like we need to raise awareness here. Listen, we're raising awareness on our friends at BetMGM, the 3-ball challenge. Not sure if you guys have heard about this. Super exciting. This is the stuff that golfers' dreams are made of. You and 3S could be teeing off at one of the most legendary courses golf courses. If you top the ranks of the PGA 3-ball challenge, here's the deal. Take your swing at this free-to-play challenge by revealing your roster of golfers for each week's tournament. The players with the best performing golfers will snag awesome weekly prizes, and this is the big kicker, also be entered for a shot to win the end of the season grand prize, a foursome at the TPC Sawgrass. Plus, you get $3,000 in withdrawable bonus dollars to use on travel, accommodations, food, beverages, whatever you want. Be the ball and play for keeps with the king of sportsbooks, our friends, our partners at BetMGM, where we're going to be every single football Sunday this fall. The BetMGM Sportsbook on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. And in the meantime, log into your BetMGM Sports app and check out the entry period within the promotional description in the terms and condition. All you got to do is go to the promo tab on BetMGM Sports and then access the 2023 BetMGM 3-ball challenge. You get 3 spins to lock in your roster, but 1 entry per customer is permitted. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Use that bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona folks, you're going to get up to $100 in bonus bets on your first wager with BetMGM. Again, use that sweet, sweet bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details, and now listen to our guy Shane Diefenbach talk about it in the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
I got excited at a buddy who lives out of state reach out to me making plans in October. He said, "Are you going to be around the weekend of October, I think 2nd?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I'm going to be. It's football season. I can't go anywhere." But the Arizona Cardinals are on the road that weekend taking on the 49ers. And I'm like, well, I'm working Sunday, but work for us is we're going to be out at the BetMGM Sportsbook. It's an away game. We're going to just be watching NFL Sunday at the Sportsbook, gambling, eating, drinking. It's going to be a fantastic time. So come out. Let's just do it. Let's make a day of it. So I'm looking forward to that. It got me even more excited for the upcoming football season. I'm looking forward to this weekend, Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody in the chat. If you're looking for a spot to impress Dad, look no further than Four Peaks. Of course, what they got going on in Tempe on H Street. They already released their specials. They got a brunch going on, biscuits and gravy. Dad, you're going to get some points with Dad if you lead him to some biscuits and gravy. You got the steak and eggs. Can't go wrong there. Steak and taters all day. Pork chops and applesauce and that classic old-fashioned. Four Peaks isn't about beer. They don't just stop at beer. I mean, they even take their beer and they barrel age it like it's a whiskey, like it's a fine, just smooth whiskey or bourbon. Check out the barrel-aged collection that they got going on there. Check out everything that Four Peaks has going on. You know their flagship kilt lifter. You know about the Wow Wheat. Find out more about their great beers on tap there and enjoy their incredible menu. If you can't make it out to the location, go find some Four Peaks at your local Circle K. It's basically everywhere. You can find beer. You can find a 6er or a 12er of Four Peaks beer. Got to be 21 years old, and of course, enjoy it responsibly.
We enjoy Four Peaks very responsibly as we're hanging out with our friends at Four Peaks and this fall at BetMGM. And, you know, they treat us well, as do our many, many partners. Is DeAndre Hopkins being treated well during his so-called free agency tour? You be the judge. So the Tennessee Titans, before he went to New England, hosted DeAndre Hopkins, and we kind of poked fun at it. And D-Hop, you know, liked the tweet, and we were poking fun at it. But nonetheless, D-Hop, Bo Brock, you pointed this out because this came on Pat McAfee, I guess, flew not private to Tennessee. He took an airline I'm very familiar with.
Yeah, it's like the remember old People magazine? It's like celebs are just like us, and they show them like shopping or walking their dog. It's like DeAndre Hopkins, you know, big time athlete, celebrity. He's just like us because according to Mike Lombardi, he flies Southwest Airlines. Yeah, I believe we have DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, there he is. He's he got an aisle seat, so good for him. Nice. Reading a newspaper and he's getting his seat kicked by a child. But apparently the trip, the recruiting tour that we called one of the saddest recruiting tours we've ever seen, and D-Hop liked that tweet. It's not so bad because afterwards, when he got to Nashville and he got to take in the country music festival that was going on and got to meet, Titans players in front office brass, it went really well. Tennessee did a tremendous job, but they flew him out Southwest. They couldn't even get him they couldn't even get him an assigned seat.
Tennessee, who according to PFF has the worst offensive line.
Yeah.
And then maybe starting
worst offensive line, worst wide receivers too, right?
Let me tell you something. Can you get on board with the following? The worst offensive line, Will Levis, and you gotta, take in Southwest when we take you on your visit. But they're saving up all their funds, right? They're cheapening out everything. It's like that. It's like that one meme where that person's got a sports car underneath their little box trailer, right? That's the D-Hop to Tennessee, the Tennessee Titans. Whereas at least the Cardinals they're gutting this house. They got the bulldozer out, right? And they're taking their lumps to rebuild, a nice, 4-bed house that's, on the lake, and everybody wants it. It's on Country Club Lane or whatever. This is sad. This is a team. It's worse for Tennessee, I think, because I'm with you. This is Julio Jones 2.0. Because what's the incentive for D-Hop if he signs with them?
They had AJ Brown back then. You say, there's that 1-2 punch, combo in the receiving core. And you're like, okay, I can see it. And Julio Jones was coming off a decent year, I think injury plagued, and he fell apart obviously after 30, and that's one of the red flags as far as DeAndre Hopkins across the league. But I'm going to do a reenactment here. Like, if I'm on my phone and I'm the general man, I'm Rand Carthon, and I'm calling DeAndre Hopkins.
Hey, Rand.
Hop, excited to have you. Can't wait to see it. We're going to get you out to Nash Vegas. You're going to take in all the scenes. You're going to take in all the music community is unbelievable. You got live music down in an entire street. You're going to love it. You're going to love the sights, the sounds. You're going to love our stadium. It's unbelievable. Derrick Henry, we're going to have him waiting there for open arms. All right, perfect. Let me just give you your confirmation code for your flight with Southwest. Hello, D-Hop, are you there? I think I lost you, because that's how it should have gone. There's nothing. There's no in between. How does a number one wide receiver in the NFL get on a recruiting troop?
It's like that team from Four Christmases. We're going to put you up at the Radisson across the street.
Southwest Airlines?
You think you can get me a seat at Sizzler tonight, Tennessee? Can we get front row tickets to the Flash at AMC Theaters for DeAndre Hopkins? No, not a private showing. You got to watch it with me and my kid. It's sad. It's sad because I think D-Hop thought his market would be substantially different. He's since taken a visit with New England, and everything that we had heard, like New England's making a push to sign him. Well, yeah, all these teams would, I think.
There's no effing way Robert Kraft flew DeAndre Hopkins out Southwest. There's no chance.
Well, yeah.
What kind of Mickey Mouse operation flies a player that they're interested in?
Look at the team we cover, though.
They have a plane at least.
Yeah, I would trade the Cardinals' private jet for quality facilities, though. Like, they're the 1 to 2 teams that have a plane. New England has a plane, I think, don't they? They're the other team.
New England?
Yeah, they're the other team. They probably, but he probably would have posted that.
Bob Kraft is an elite owner. I'll give him that
100%. But here's the thing:
I don't even know who owns the Titans.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it came out that he wants Beckham money. That's $16-17 million. No one's paying him that. No one's paying. The teams are set. Nobody wanted to trade for him at $21 million, and now it's like, I believe people when they say, like, New England made a push to sign him on their terms for like an incentive-laden contract that probably started at like $5 to $7 million. He is waiting for a team to swoop in and pay a premium for him, and I just don't think it's likely. Like, I saw something from Diana Rossini. He's like, he's not signing anytime soon. It's like, okay, you say, are they giving out $20 million contracts in July to free agents? No. We'll talk to Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins need to come to Jesus moment about what's the reality of the situation right now. If D-Hop's agent would do him justice, you would send him to Kansas City for whatever they wanted to pay him, and at least for a year, revitalize his image on the field and have a monster season, and then get paid afterward. But I think D-Hop, it's unfortunate because D-Hop is not living in reality with the rest of us. Like, hey, DeAndre, we love the Hail Murray. but that's not the last 2 years. It's a suspension, right? And it's injured.
Yeah.
And you're an elite player when you're healthy and you play. We haven't had enough of that. So, pouring out for DeAndre Hopkins because he's flying coach with you and I.
Hey, D-Hop, it's Brett Veach, the GM from KC. We got you a flight on Frontier. We're excited to see you. Hey, yeah, this is Brandon Bean out in Buffalo. Can you actually just rent a car and drive out here? Is that possible? Would he be willing to do it?
We'll cover your mileage up to a certain amount, DeAndre Hopkins. It's sad. I love D-Hop. I'll tell you what else I love, though. I love our friends at Circle K. We talked about Circle K earlier. So I went and saw The Flash last night with my oldest. It was fantastic here in Maricopa. But what did I do beforehand? Went and laced our pockets with Circle K. Now, we paid for the snacks first. We didn't steal them, but we laced them to sneak them in because our
you used your 8-year-old son as a smuggling apparatus.
Yeah,
you
his
loaded
cargo
him
shorts
up.
on. Yep.
You're like the girlfriend in the Wolf of Wall Street where they just line her with money.
With money.
Smuggle him in there.
Like first time he's like, "What are we doing? Can we get in trouble?" Now he knows the drill. He enjoys it. We did the Reese's Pieces, right?
Hey, you shut your mouth.
I'm not paying those movie theater prices. God damn it. No. We did the double Heath bars and the Reese's Pieces. Then at the theater, we got, the usual popcorn and an oversized icy. But Circle K, it's my one-stop shop. Everything I need there. If I could do my laundry at Circle K, I would. I do everything I need to with the family, and you can too. We're so excited to partner with our friends at Circle K. Check them out. Best beer, coffee, snack selection, premium gas at not a premium price. I'm envious. Check out PHNX personalities left and right when you're pumping your gas. That makes me feel great. Iced coffee, $1.89, 12 packs of beer, $9.99. And again, the coup de grace is something I dabbled with yesterday. I'm going to go do it after the show's over because I'm an SMS subscriber. What does that mean? I'm part of an exclusive club. You can join. Text PHNX to 31310. 31310. PHNX, buy one, get one free, 32-ounce Polar Pops. Let's go. It's hot AF. It's supposed to be 107 here in the Valley on Sunday. Double up, hydrate with your Polar Pops. Head to circlek.com/store locator. That's circlek.com/store-locator to find the Circle K nearest to you.
Let me tell you about the deal of the season. I'm, of course, talking about our ShadyRays.com PHNX partnership deal. It's exclusive to viewers, listeners like you. Go to their website, ShadyRays.com, and find out what 250,000 people are rating 5 stars. And it's Shady Rays, the premium polarized shades that are unbelievable, undeniable when you look at their quality versus any of the big brand, boutique sunglasses that we all grew up loving. That let's call it like Folkley or Bayran or whatever. You've got all those bigger name sunglasses, but they're not as quality as these, and they're certainly not as affordable as Shady Rays. And we're saving you some coin even more so when you go to ShadyRays.com and use the code PHNX. You can save up to 50% off 2 or more pairs of sunglasses, polarized sunglasses, saving your eyes even more so with those polarized sunglasses. I love mine. I got a pair for my son. I got a pair for my wife. Save big while doing so. You should do for yourself as well. Go to ShadyRays.com. Use that promo code PHNX. Get 50% off 2 or more pairs of sunglasses from Shady Rays. Rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
What does it mean to you, Bo, to be a distraction? Because I think a distraction, and I think producer Shane, when he hops on, huge distraction, right? When producer Emma is making fun of my beer chugging skills as I'm trying to articulate a point, that's a distraction.
It's true, but it can be a bit distracting.
I'm a professional, and so is Kyler Murray, yet he's being labeled a distraction, Bo Brock.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Bleacher Report continues to slander the quarterback while he's down. He's rehabbing from knee surgery. This is from Bleacher Report. They had 8 biggest distractions going into the NFL season.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray made the cut. There was right there at number 8, top of the article, with Murray's uncertain status set to loom over this club for foreseeable future. It appears another rough year is ahead for fans out in the desert, per the BR Bleacher Report.
Just hard-hitting journalism there.
I really, this is a stretch. This is one of the bigger stretches of the offseason. I mean, is it something that you'll follow along with, that you're going to want to keep tabs on Kyler Murray's status? Absolutely. But as far as distracting the Cardinals players, coaches, front office, and their fan base, no, not at all. This is one of the least distracting things possible. I'm shocked. Like, 8's not that many. Like, I could rip off 8 more distracting storylines in the NFL ahead of Kyler Murray and his knee rehab.
How about all these coaches that are poised to get fired if they don't win? Arthur Smith and Josh McDaniels. How about Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't win with the Jets?
Exactly.
I mean, like, how about Josh Allen? He's got to win the big one in Buffalo. The Cardinals have it's hard to be a distraction when you have zero expectations. Okay, like, distractions come in the form of, we expect this from you, and if you don't take care of business, here's why. We're going to point this out. The Cardinals, with our friends at BetMGM, God love them, are underdogs in all 17 games. So how on earth could Kyler Murray be a distraction to that? Also, he's present in everything. He's not holding out, right? He's available. You can talk to him. And, like, the doctors they're not making this up. They're not falsifying it. He's not holding out for a contract. Kyler Murray has been paid. He is going to get his guaranteed money whether he plays or not. He wants to play. He is not purposely trying to sit out. It is up to Monti Ossenfort, Jonathan Gannon, and the Cardinals medical staff to determine when he's ready to play. That's not a distraction. It's out of Kyler's control.
It is. You got Josh Allen, who just broke up with his longtime girlfriend. Now he's dating a Hollywood actress.
Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah. That's more distracting than Kyler Murray coming off of his knee surgery.
Like,
right?
You can knock Kyler Murray for a lot. Maybe he's aloof, right? He's an introvert. I've said this since day one. Go look at the receipts. He has never been a distraction in the form of off the field. It's never been Kyler, like pulling a Ja Morant or being out in clubs or not respecting, his coaching staff, not, being a professional off the field and getting in trouble with the law. I mean, his buddy Hollywood Brown got arrested last year. I mean, it's just, that's never been Kyler Murray. Would have been the knocks on K1. It's like, well, he likes video games and he keeps to himself.
Yeah.
That's not a distraction. That's just, hey, he's a kid. He was young. He was in his early 20s. I would much rather have somebody who's like that than somebody who's a true distraction off the field. Not Hollywood. Antonio Brown's a distraction, not Kyler Murray.
Right. I mean, if anything, Kyler Murray's rehab and the longer he's out, like, the more we've heard, like, as he's at the facility, and Jose's pointing this out, he's at the facility all the time, and that's correct. Right. As he rehabs it from, first one in, according to James Conner, last one out, according to JC, to DJ Humphries, he's saying that he's gotten to know and learn about a different side of Kyler Murray as they're in the facility, in the weight room, working, rehabbing their respective injuries. I mean, if anything, it's endearing himself more to his team, and it's less of a distraction. I think, he's becoming more and more of the Cardinals family, getting to know his coaching staff. It's not a distraction. To chalk this up as a distraction, like, it's a brutal, take on this Cardinals organization.
I mean, like, listen, guys, the Cardinals can't move off of Kyler Murray today or tomorrow, but, like, they're going to have a decision to make next spring. They want to keep Kyler Murray as their quarterback. Jonathan Gannon, people I trust, he's adamant. Like, he does not envision a scenario where Kyler Murray is not his quarterback in 2024. They just cut DeAndre Hopkins. Why did they cut DeAndre Hopkins? Because they thought he would be a distraction.
Sure.
But nobody wants to talk about that. They told DeAndre Hopkins, $21 million, go away. They're not telling that to Kyler Murray, in part because they can't right now with his deal. They need Kyler Murray. They know that. Jonathan Gannon moved his family from Philadelphia, right? He had offers. He moved his family to Philadelphia, or from Philadelphia. He got a 5-year contract. Like, he does not want to burn multiple years hoping and praying that they find another quarterback because he inexplicably moves off Kyler Murray too soon. The Caleb Williams thing is an outlier scenario, very specific circumstantial scenario. Everything else leads back to one thing, and that's number one. That's quarterback number one in Kyler Murray. So
right.
I also think we should be bullish, at least I am, Bo, on seeing Kyler Murray, with all due respect, with a professional coaching staff, an upgrade tenfold. I like Cliff Kingsbury, the human being. He was always nice to me. Vance Joseph, say what you want. the coaching staff for the Arizona Cardinals during Kyler Murray's tenure, I'm just going to call it's just below average, especially the minutia of the NFL game, adjustments at halftime, adjustments, and we saw it with Cliff over the second half of the season to set your quarterback up for success. I think Kyler Murray wants to be challenged. I think he will. I've already heard rumblings, Bo. Gannon challenges these guys already. They've had a stark reminder of, oh yeah, guys who came from high-profile collegiate programs or other teams like, oh yeah, this is what it's like to be coached by grown professional men in this realm, grown professional people that know what they're doing. And I think Kyler Murray is going to thrive in that environment. I really do.
The chat continues to crush it. Classy Nasty, you and me both. The Wing King is my role model as well, no doubt about it. The Wing King of Maricopa, Johnny Venerable, Fishbowl Flash. Diggs is a bigger distraction in Buffalo, no doubt about it.
No doubt.
So, look, I completely agree with it. And talking about, Gannon even told us, he was like, he seems, confident, content with what they were able to accomplish on the go here on the fly as he took over in mid-February, Monti Ossenfort mid-January, and they were able to cram in an offseason and get this team up to speed. But what JG told me, he's like, we're taking it up a notch. We're going to take it up a notch. Once training camp hits, it's like the honeymoon phase is over for this organization and its new head coach, because then expectations starts to set in, and it's like, okay, it's no more it's not like install and nice to meet you and like, where'd you go to school and can't wait to get you on the grass. It's like, now I expect you to know this playbook. I expect you to know your role. And that's good. And look, I mean, as silly as it is, I mean, there's the video that the team released at AZ Cardinals of this team, putting together this care package, hygiene kits for families that are victimized by domestic violence, which it's great, right, that the team is doing that. Yeah. But in that, they created a competition. It's insane. Like, Jonathan Gannon pitted the offense versus the defense to pack these hygiene kits. Like, competition is everywhere. Like, he's getting this team to where they're going to compete in every single thing. The shadow boxing between Hollywood Brown and Greg Dortch, like, this team is competing even in their downtime. You love to see it.
You do.
And absolutely, Jose. Buckle up. Yeah. Buckle up.
It's something that's been missing. I mean, the Cardinals under Cliff Kingsbury, I hesitate to use the word soft, but the mentality of them across the NFL was it was a soft team and a soft program. And when you punch the Cardinals, especially late in the year, they folded like a cheap suit. And now it's like they're trying to rebuild.
Talk about my suit like that.
Yeah, that's right. They're trying to rebuild a little bit of dignity. But I'll tell you who's got all the dignity in the world is our friends at More Furniture. And by the way, I might be using More Furniture sooner rather than later, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, check out morefurniture.com. Premier furniture at a premier savings price. It's got what you want to buy for your home. That white glove delivery, folks, you cannot beat it. I can't tell you how many times I've ordered off of trendy websites I use all the time. I try a piece of furniture. It comes, it's broken. It's not put together, right? It's the wrong model. It's got a big dent in the box. Not with More Furniture's white glove delivery. We've got all of our PHNX studio office furniture upgraded and ready to go with More Furniture, and it is elite. We park our butts there for watch-alongs, studio shows, and you cannot beat it. Do yourself a favor. Check out morefurniture.com and save big on the best furniture in the Valley when you head to their website.
Man, times have changed, and for the better, right? Because this Father's Day, one of the most perfect gifts you can get your old man is some OGs. Get some of those great gummies that he's going to fall in love with if he hasn't already done already. Father's Day coming up. You only got a few short days between now and then. Why not go shop at your local dispensary for some OGs? It's the perfect gift. They've got so many great gummies on display. Every great gummy begins with a burst of flavor. Check them out. They're soft, they're bouncy, they're delicious cannabis gummies, and they're created and they're cooked up right here in this great state, Arizona, and they're in your local dispensaries. And all their products are fantastic, from their sleep time gummy, which will help put you to sleep and keep you asleep, to their fruits. They got the fruits, the creams, they've got the mixed bags, they've got the pink lemonade, which drops next week. set your calendars for June 21st because it's going down. June 21st, Pink Lemonade will be available to you from OG's, their newest flavor, to join all their great flavors like watermelon, peach, blackberries and cream, orange creamsicles, peaches and cream. You got the strawberries and cream. Can't go wrong. It's never been easier to cross off that Father's Day shopping list than to go to your local dispensary and buy some OG's. Check everything out at ogsbrands.com and, of course, at OG's Brands on your socials. You can find their products, local dispensary. Got to be 21 years or older.
Missed a question earlier. Johnny, what is your review of The Flash? Quick review, 1 to 10. I'm going to give it an 8.5. That was great. CGI is a little dicey, like people have said. Still great movie to go see with your kids over Father's Day weekend. Awesome stuff.
Is it?
Yeah.
The Flash had daddy problems, didn't he?
He does. He's got daddy problems in this movie. And then, Michael
daddy
Keaton
issues.
Batman, he's got dad. Everybody in this movie could use a daddy.
Yeah.
And
you're in the DC universe. You've got daddy issues.
Yeah, you for
Except
sure
for
got
Superman.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, I think he's everybody's daddy. So we're excited about the prospect of hanging out with everybody this fall at BetMGM Sportsbook. But I had a couple people reach out to me recently, and I want to confirm to everybody who didn't know this, we're going to be there every Sunday, not just for home games. We're going to be there hanging out. You can get appetizers, drink specials, whatever you want. We're going to do pre-game shows, halftime shows, post-game shows. We're hoping to bring back some of our buddies of the program to be able to help us cover this team on Sunday, but we will be there every single Sunday. So if you're on the fence, if you're thinking to yourself, I don't know if I want to go and buy season tickets, well, here's what you ought to do. You ought to go to gophnx.com. You can become a diehard, right? And then you can sport a little bit of gear ahead of Father's Day, by the way, and become a PHNX diehard and come hang with Bo and I every single Sunday. And speaking of Father's Day, we've got the Father's Day sale still going on. It's not going to get to you by Father's Day. Take a screen capture, send it to your old man. He'd love that. Buy one, get one half off, all shirts and hats, June 8th to the 18th. So you just got a couple more days up until Father's Day. Take advantage. Again, my preference is load up on Cards gear, but there's too much good stuff out here. We just rolled out a couple new D-back shirts, Sun shirts. You cannot beat them. We got a couple things, Bo Brock, for the locker in the hopper that we're excited to debut later this summer. But regardless, check it out. Go phnx.com.
Yeah, tons of exciting things going on here as far as PHNX Sports. And, of course, this podcast one specifically in the works. Can't wait to unveil what that's about. But PHNX Father's Day sale continues. Get in on it because it's buy one, get half off all shirts and hats right now. And becoming a diehard, I mean, you can do it when training camp comes along, and I'm dropping insight you're only going to get in the Discord that you only have access through for diehards. But why wait? We're talking Cardinals football just like we do in the chat for about an hour when we're live on the show, but that chat continues in the Cardinals PHNX Cardinals Discord, and it's well worth the price of admission there, plus the articles from Howard Balzer. He's got a great article about Isaiah Simmons up right now. Check that one out. And I'm going to put one out as far as just forecasting, the Cardinals depth chart. I'll drop that about next week.
Wow. Be on the lookout for that. Also, subscribe to this podcast, right? We're going to be dropping exclusive audio-only podcasts as we approach training camp. Keep it locked in. Subscribe to PHNX Sports on YouTube. We're quickly approaching 14,000 followers. We need you all to help us get there. In the meantime, like this show. Send it around the YouTube algorithm. Bo Brock, Johnny Venerable, wishing you a happy Father's Day here on a Football Friday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.